Do you like basketball? Basketball. I like, but I'm not good at. Yes, I'm not.
Me too.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the State of the League podcast, the only NBA podcast that takes your calls. Technically, you had to be subscribed to the Patreon to make this round of lobbyist calls, but I think in the future we might open this up to full on public access. If you want to call in and let us know, we are public servants. So if we're not doing a good job representing your part of the league, then yeah, you can call this number and you can let us know. I'm Jack, aka joestar. With me, as always, is the world famous Pablo Escobar. Pablo, how are you doing today?
I'm doing okay. I'm gonna have Thai food tonight, so it's a good day.
So you're gonna be doing better in a couple of hours. Is the vibe I'm getting?
Yeah. I think it's safe to say.
I'm thinking I'm gonna be all right. I think I'm gonna be doing okay. Damn, what's the go-to Thai order?
Curry with duck.
Ooh, see, I've never had duck before.
I had it one time before. I was like, this has rocked my world. So this is gonna be this will be my third time having it.
Is it like an upcharge?
Yeah, it is.
It's like plus $4 or whatever.
Yeah.
Respect. I love a good red Thai curry.
I thought you were gonna say upcharge. I was like, whoa.
No, I mean if it's
DC's
worth
gotten
it.
to him.
I love a good upcharge. If I could just pay extra for the exact same thing, that would really be ideal. No, I
like when the poorer people can't eat what I'm eating. I'm like Marie Antoinette.
Yeah, like an upcharge for silverware, and then like I look across the restaurant, there's a guy just eating with his bare hands. I'm like, what a caveman, what a sick fuck. Me, the enlightened individual, I paid $2.50. I get one spork now.
I'm eating for fun, not to survive like that animal.
Yeah. Red Thai curry. There's a Thai place around the corner from me, and they have a really good red curry. I usually get chicken. The upcharge is beef though, and the beef is very, very good.
I've gotten is it Masaman curry? I don't know how you pronounce it, but it's
I'm not. How's it spelled? Do you know?
I think it's MASSAMAN, or maybe just one S. I don't know.
I always, and this is probably a little bit of unchecked racism, I always opt for like the long A sound, Masaman, when I'm doing like a Thai or really like any ethnic food. It's just any vowel sounds like masa man, like the hard Midwest A. I'm like, that sounds super out of place in this language, even though I'm sure those exist all the fucking time in Thai language. What was I gonna say? Oh, have you ever seen Severance? That's what I was gonna say before we started recording, because Pablo mentioned I have color-coded spreadsheets behind me on this poster.
I have not.
Oh, damn. Me and my girlfriend, we just tore through it. I've seen it before. This was her first time watching it. It's 9 episodes. It's on Apple TV. It's directed by Ben Stiller, and it's like very high production value, kind of science fiction television. It's really good.
I'll tell you what, I don't have Apple TV. I recently got Peacock for the Olympic stuff.
Nice.
I'm excited for NBC basketball. It feels more important when things are on NBC.
NBC's a news channel, baby. What the fuck am I watching? What am I watching on TNT for? What else is even on TNT? I would love to look at like the TV guide for like the hour before Inside the NBA, the pregame show, whatever it is.
It's like Shawshank Redemption and like a bunch of old movies like that. There actually was a TV show years ago that was on. I think it would air after the basketball. It was called Animal Kingdom, and it was kind of like a mid show, but I really liked it. It was about heists. It was like this group of this family that would pull off heists and stuff. It was crazy.
Wow. And so why was it called? I thought you were going to be like a nature documentary slant there. Animal Kingdom.
Good. Well, listen, it's just we're in Animal Kingdom.
Yeah,
because we're humans. We're all animals, and we're robbing banks just like gorillas are robbing. Well, no, gorillas aren't robbing anything. They're existing. and then the Harambe kid is trying to rob them, and they're put in his
Oh,
place.
see, I thought you were there was. I read an article forever ago that rogue chimps were like killing gorilla babies, and so maybe I thought that's where you're gonna go with that. Like chimps are getting more violent in nature. I guess was the conclusion that the article came to, which that scares me. I don't like chimps. I'm chill with gorillas. Gorillas, there's like a serenity to them that like gorillas feel like a bumblebee to me, where it's like
Mm.
you don't fuck with him, you won't get stung. Although that is definitely not true. A gorilla would absolutely kill you. A chimp to me is like a wasp, where like I see one and I'm like, dude, this is it. Like it's coming for me if I let it.
Listen, guys, I'm not informed on the chimp gorilla dynamic. I don't want to say anything out of place, so I need to do more research.
Hey, Jordan Peele. I wonder if he's pro or anti chimp. The movie, Nope, Gordy,
yeah.
he was that was a pretty in
That
terms
was
of
a pretty pro chimp movie.
I would disagree. It feels like the jaws of chimps, where like now I'm scared of chimps. They're like they'll kill you.
But I feel like we all left the theater saying that chimp was right. Those people deserved it.
I mean, I guess, but it didn't make me any more comfortable to be around a chimp, I suppose. Just the chimp being morally justified does not make me like I don't think I could be nice to a chimp and be guaranteed safe in its vicinity.
Yeah, I'm not looking to hang around any animal that could kill me. Like if it gets in a bad mood. So
Yeah.
I if they
Or even if it
offered
gets
me,
curious. Although I was just
yeah,
defending sharks. And I
sharks bite
maintain
when they're curious.
yeah,
Yeah,
but like a chimp seems like it would tear my fucking arm off if it was curious.
they rip faces off.
Yeah, like your faces, your hands, and your nuts, I guess. So yeah,
But do you think we could get more views if we're the only faceless podcast?
I don't want to be no, I'd rather be a failing face podcast than like a succeeding faceless podcast.
I don't know. There'd be a lot of sympathy.
For like a year, maybe, but
But like Kenny Beecham would tweet out, "I'm sad to see Jokic Joestar's face got ripped off. Wishing him a quick recovery."
I'm not the guy getting my. I know. I already said no. So if you want to continue with this hypothetical, Kenny Beecham would tweet out, "Damn, HTTV NBA."
Kenny Beecham would not tweet it out if I got my face ripped off.
Kenny would see his phone and he'd be like, "Oh, damn." But like if it happened to me, he'd tweet it out. But if it happened to you, he'd be like, "Shit, that's tough."
Who's the most high profile person that would tweet out anything if I got my face ripped off by a chimp? I feel like Philip DeFranco would cover it. He doesn't know who I am.
Oh, yeah, he might though. But like, does that count?
He tweeted my face once.
Oh, really? I've not heard anything about this. That's a big get.
Well, it was when I did my first 9/11 video. What's Ash's best team to stop 9/11? And he tweeted out a screenshot. He said, "Interesting things are happening on TikTok," or like my algorithm's messed up or something like that. And he did cut off my username, which I was very grateful for, because I was like, I do not need the Philip DeFranco traction, because I was like, oh, people are going to be upset. They weren't upset though. With that was lucky. I dodged a bullet there. But so me and Philly D, we go a little far back.
That's a big get. 2015 Jokic Joestar, I'd be freaking out, man. Oh, Philip DeFranco. Whoa.
And also, what kind of situation would I be in where I wouldn't be blamed? Like 9 times out of 10, people would be mad at me. They'd blame me for getting my face ripped off.
Well, it's because you're fucking with the chimp. To be honest, if you're around a chimp,
yeah,
you're probably not where you're supposed to be.
What would be a reasonable place to run into a chimp? If I went on vacation to Gibraltar, they have monkeys there. I don't know if they have chimps. And I was staying at the hotel and one broke in and ripped off my face. Would they be sympathetic, or would they be like, do you know about the history of Gibraltar and whatever?
It's like when that guy tried to steal like the propaganda poster from North Korea, and everyone was just
Loser.
like, fucking loser, idiot. He deserved everything that happened to him. It's like, Jesus Christ, guys.
What would you say was the rooting? Like, what would you say was the split on the Harambe situation? Like, what % of people were like, they had to kill that gorilla, and what percent of people were like, "Hey, you fall in the gorilla's den, it's on you."
I feel like our perspective is skewed, especially now.
Yeah.
Like now, it's like the entire world coalesced around this martyr. But like back in the day, I'm sure there was plenty of people who's like, it's first of all the amount of people who are probably straight up just like it's a human life, it's more valuable than a gorilla life. I would wager that outweighs whatever like nice little group Harambe is getting around him.
Well, Harambe was pretty old, so he might have built up a network.
Yeah, but I mean, at the same time, that's probably like the kid was young. If anything,
Yeah.
I was upset at the child's mother.
Yeah, that I think that's where everyone directed the rage, and I think they were like, let the gorilla eat him, so the mother is hurt, so she
Yeah,
pays for her crime.
and it's funny, but it's not because society defaults to blaming the woman. You notice
Ah,
nobody. Oh, where's this kid's dad at? I'm upset with this kid's dad. No, it's immediately the dynamic: who is right and who is wrong, the gorilla or the mother. And I think that says
it was probably the zoo's fault, right? How was that possible? How did he get in there?
that's another good question. I mean, I think if you're like if you leave a 10-year-old unattended, uh I was a kid who was climbing shit. I would climb trees, like
Oh,
I would do all that. Uh I feel like if you leave them unattended in an inopportune spot, most of the time they could figure out a way to climb over into like a pit like that. Especially if it's not directly in front of you at the zoo, if it's something where like yeah, it's a pit that's like a big fall down. I think they mostly just make the fence like body height, like a 6 or 7 foot fence, and then maybe like some decorative rocks around it, and that's like maybe he climbed up those. I'm not exactly sure.
yeah, I forget how he got in there. I remember he was like in the water, being dragged by its own
I
foot, and
remember
the
the
gorilla
video,
was
dude.
moving so fast. uh, but yeah, I forget all the logistics. I'm sure they've upped their security ever since.
Oh, well, it's like that guy who. Did you ever see that TikTok where he's like, I like to do tourism after a terrorist
Yeah.
attack? It's like that. So I bet zoo tickets there probably dirt cheap for a while.
Oh man, that was probably that would have been a great time to go to the zoo. Unless you were a gorilla fanatic, then you were like, crap,
Yeah.
they got the star of the show. Um, it's crazy that we don't know who that kid is, and that kid's probably like in college now.
Yeah, he's probably pretty old. I wonder if he ever feels guilty about it.
Yeah, I wonder. Like, you think he's like it should have been me, not him.
He's-
He's like watching compilations on YouTube, like Harambe's best moments at the zoo, where he like pounds his chest for the glass. Everyone goes crazy. He's like, I'll never do that for people.
I'll never make that many people smile at once in my life. I'm a
What if
waste.
what if he becomes a super villain and he breeds a bulletproof gorilla?
Oh my, this is yeah. All right, I like this train of thought. I'm glad that we got to the idea of a bulletproof gorilla. Uh, that would be crazy. I mean, I think bulletproof gorilla that's probably like a pretty big step forward in terms of warfare. I don't know if you could like make them soldiers or anything, but if you could like drop a couple of bulletproof gorillas into like an enemy encampment, like you fly a helicopter over and you just kick them out, that's probably pretty effective, I feel like.
And I think gorillas are really smart, right?
Smart enough. I mean, what is really smart in this context?
Can they play chess?
No shot a gorilla can play chess. What are you talking about?
Well, they made that glue. It's really good.
The Gorilla Glue was made by. I did not realize that. Jesus Christ, dude, this
It's in
goes
the
deeper.
title.
Goes deeper than I ever thought. All right, enough of Harambe. Enough of all this bullshit. Today, we're taking calls. We're taking calls from people. We set up a Google Voice line. Our secretary is standing by there right now. I don't know the number off the top of my head.
I don't either.
I guess I'll put it in the description of this video. And then the next time we do a video like this, I'll probably tweet it out as well. And
Well, wait. Let's see. Let's try out. Let's keep it for the Patreon for next time to see. Now that we've done it, let's see how many submissions we get.
Okay. All right. All right. So it's Patreon exclusive. Patreon.com/state of the league. $5. You get lobbyist requests. Plus, you get to do this. Plus, you get access to the Discord. Plus, you get to help us out. You get to help us out. I got a nice coffee today. Somebody paid for it, you know?
Oh, I saw this epic commercial from 1995 when Dunkin' Donuts first launched their iced coffee. It was good.
Yeah. It was a good commercial.
It was this old guy with a big mustache. He was dancing.
You ever seen Dunkachino? That
Yes,
what's
this was literally the chain of thought in the group chat last night with my friends. I sent it, and then my friend sent the Dunkachino commercial.
what's my name? Dunkachino. Exactly. All right.
I was born to drink the Dunkachino, but I didn't find out about it until it was discontinued.
Was it a real drink?
I'm pretty sure it was actually put on the menu after that.
God, that rocks.
And you can ask for it still, but I don't have the confidence to do that.
I was gonna say you should just do that, but you're
once I get 100,000 patrons, I'll have all the confidence in the world. So
yeah, I'll have this kind of like I'll have an army behind me, and so if the Dunkin' Donuts worker was like, ha, a Dunkachino, you loser, I would activate my watch.
Dunkachino, what's that? I'm literally going live. I'm saying, guys, come down here. Let's tear this place to the ground.
I'm activating my golden walkie-talkie. Come in, everybody. I'm at Dunkin' Donuts over on L Street, and and then you guys all just fucking running over the hills, riding horses, carrying swords, bombs, things of that nature.
Like Game of Thrones.
Yeah, the Dunkin' Donuts will not live to see another sunrise.
One time I wanted to try something new at Starbucks. I got bold. I saw something on the menu called Cafe Misto.
Yeah.
I said, could I get a grande cafe misto? And she laughed. And the response, she laughed. She said, yeah, one cafe misto. I was like, okay. Okay.
Was she cute?
I don't remember. All I remember is Shane.
That could have been a budding romance for Mr. Escobar. You son of a bitch.
No, that was her throwing me into the gates of hell.
No, you're just too self-conscious, you big weenie.
She burned my crops, poisoned my water supply, and delivered plague unto my house.
All right. I don't give a fuck about any of that. This is the first call. I've never tried to play one of these videos in a recording before, so we'll see how it goes. Bear with me here.
Our producer, play it for us. What's our producer's name?
Terry.
Terry,
roll the clip.
Hey, Pablo. Hey, Jack. Love checking in here today. This is Josh Lerman, Mavs District. Just wanted to ask you guys, is Najee Marshall the next Deshaun Stevenson? Is he the Defensive Player of the Year? Will he be Defensive Player of the Year? I plan on betting on this, probably $200, $300. Would like to know your thoughts, and will Luka drop his nuts on the league next year? Is there any possibility of that? Are we looking at a Luka villain arc? Are we looking at a Luka Superman arc? What are we looking at here? Would love to know your guys' opinions. Kofi, I hope everything is going well. Jack, I hope the missus is great. And Pablo, I know where you live. Have a good night, everyone.
That was really good, Josh Lerman.
I thought you were just gonna play it out of your phone. That was crazy.
Yeah, no, I made a graphic.
We're like a real operation.
Yeah, I figured I was doing it today, and I was like, you set up the Google Voice thing, so I guess I'll put in a little elbow grease on my end. And so yeah, all of them are uploaded on the recording site, and we could just play them. Terry can play them whenever we say.
That's crazy. And so, and guys, he said Kofi. We put out this message like, hey, we're gonna have Kofi on, leave voice memos. This was July 14th, I think. That's when all the messages are from. So these are old. So if you hear Kofi, they're getting to him in spirit. Maybe he'll tune in, and maybe he'll pause and answer in his apartment.
Yeah, Kofi, that's very beautiful if you're doing that. All right, so the big questions here: is Najee Marshall going to be the next Deshaun Stevenson, the next Defensive Player of the Year? And is Luca? Are we getting a Luca villain arc? So as far as
And
Najee,
does he know where I live? I hope not.
he does. He said yes. So that's not a question. He does.
I'll tell you what. There's one time someone commented that I seem like someone who would live in a certain city, and I just drove by that city for the first time, and I was like, "This place is actually sick." And I was like, "I can't move here though, because that guy will think that he got it right, and he'll be looking for me there. So I can't live there." But yeah, Deshaun Stevenson. You know what Deshaun Stevenson's greatest fun fact about Deshaun Stevenson is?
No, hit me with it.
Well, first off, I think he does have like a criminal charge, so I think not a good guy.
Well,
But
is it against? Is it like
I
a
think he like beat up.
property charge or?
I think he like beat up a woman or something, or like assault.
Okay, all right.
Um,
That was not a fun fact.
yeah, that's a less fun fact. But a fun fact: he had an ATM in his house.
That is fun. Oh my god! I wonder if he had to pay like $2 or whatever to get money out every single time.
I think he might. I think his friends might have. I don't know. He definitely had it like in his living room. It was like, and then he went broke. But I don't think that the ATM was not a poor purchase.
Respect.
Let me double check these allegations just to make sure I'm not slandering Deshaun Stevenson.
All right. ATM in the living room on par with T-Pain's literally says big ass chain that like he went bankrupt 3 years after he bought. It's not a sound financial decision. Cuz I wonder if they were like big, they would do like poker nights with the boys and stuff, and so like everybody could just keep taking money out if they ran out. That seems like a slippery slope. They probably, I don't know, if you're going to the club has an ATM. They wouldn't really benefit. You could like stock up before you left. And then I wonder if the bank ever had to come by and like restock his ATM with cash. That's bizarre.
All right, so I've got some facts for you.
All right.
So he paid $3,500 for the machine. So not crazy.
That's I could do that if I really felt like it.
Yeah, it would
it would bankrupt me damn near.
I could I could be in credit card debt for that.
Yeah, it's feasible.
He lets his rich NBA friends use it for last minute cash withdrawals before they go out, but the service ain't free. Deshaun says he charges his pals a steep $4.50 ATM fee. He says the machine holds $20,000 and he refills it 4 to 6 times a year. He says, I like doing things that aren't normal and it's cool to have.
To be honest, in terms of abnormal things you could do, I feel like that perfectly walks the line of just kind of silly without being like weird or damaging or off-putting.
It was Rob Dyrdek's idea, he says.
Oh, dude, I want to be a fly on the wall for Rob Dyrdek trying to talk Deshaun Stevenson down from $450 for a withdrawal fee. I went to a Spanish grocery store while I was home. They have my favorite salsa, and they only take cash. The ATM fee there was fucking $450. That blew me away. That's too much. I feel
that's Deshaun Stevenson rate.
Yeah, what do you guys think? You're Deshaun Stevenson? It's ridiculous. Okay, as far as actual questions in that call, Najee Marshall, I've stated before in terms of lineup questions I have about the Mavs. So you have this combination of Luka, Kyrie, Klay Thompson, Najee Marshall. I think all 4 of those guys are good basketball players. I just am curious as to whether or not the team, like, are Klay and Najee going to share the floor that much, really? And if not, it seems like Klay going into this season is going to be the guy getting more minutes. So even though I think Najee Marshall is a really, really good player, really good defender, and will fill the Derrick Jones Jr. void pretty well, it's the fact that, like, I just don't, I'm curious how much he's going to be playing. Not that he'll be like 10 minutes a game or anything, but it seems like you'd want him to be a starter.
Yeah, Klay probably starts, and so when everyone's healthy, it's probably Luka, Kyrie, Klay, and then Lively, and who at the 4?
PJ Washington.
PJ, yes. So Yeah, that would probably be what they roll with. But I could easily see like after a timeout when they switch things up, they run like either one of Kyrie or Luca, Clay, Najee, and
Yeah.
so yeah, and so I think like Deshaun Stevenson, he was the LeBron stopper, right? Najee could probably be that. He could be a guy that you're sticking on.
He's the Shea stopper.
Yeah, he's a guy you're sticking on the best players that the other team has, and he could probably do. I don't have a good memory of Deshaun Stevenson's offensive game, but I would imagine that he's got more in terms of attacking off the dribble and passing. So I think Najee Marshall can be the Deshaun Stevenson for a potential Mavs championship.
Yes. As far as Luca villain run, I don't think this is the season we see Luca come into shape from the jump, just given his health at the Olympics and everything. Uh, and so, how that bodes for like, I think he's well in the conversation for an MVP again. To be honest, if I had to like bet on someone right now, I think just in terms of how the narratives have lined up, how he's come up short a couple of times, despite, especially this past season, like a Herculean statistical effort, one of the craziest statistical seasons we've ever seen. I would probably bet him for MVP this upcoming year. But I think, I don't know, villain arc. I think he probably just continues being one of the three best players in basketball. It's not like he's a particularly nice guy right now. We just saw him scream, "Rudy Gobert can't fucking guard me." Like the Wolves series was him putting his nuts on the league a little bit. Like the Wolves just barely survived the Nuggets, who ostensibly were one of the best teams in the league, and then the Wolves match up against the Mavs, and it's like, oh, we have no prayer of stopping this guy. Like he's just on a different level. And so I feel like his nuts are already on the league a little bit, but it could definitely continue next season.
In a league where everyone is Anthony Edwards crazy, then yeah, he could definitely be the villain. But also, I feel like there's a huge overlap with people who love Anthony Edwards and people who love Kyrie. So even when the Timberwolves lost, they're like, "Well, Kyrie, no, that's my guy too." So, yeah, it's entirely possible for Luka to become a super. What would have to maybe if he like played the Lakers in a series and he was like trash talking LeBron.
Yeah, it could work with LeBron. It's just hard. Like, I guess you would also need the extremes of all the stuff people don't like about him actively. So the flopping, turn it up to 10. The arguing, the bitching, the moaning to refs, turn it up to 10. Maybe throw in some like he's a guy who gets very emotional, and so like throw in some Grayson Allen pilled, he gets frustrated and he does a dirty play or two. If you get that stuff, then I feel like his game is already in a spot where it's like people could turn on it pretty easily. It doesn't feel like his game does not feel that much separate from like a regular season Joel Embiid to me. I think Embiid, he obviously foul baits more. He gets to the line slightly more. It's not like Luka still takes like 10 free throws a game and stuff. Luka just has a lot more aura going for him because he's really, really good in the postseason. Probably because he's white too, a little bit. And yeah, I don't know. It feels like Luka's game. It's not immune from being turned into that villain role. So yeah, if he did that and they played the Lakers, which that's possible if they're like a high seed and the Lakers kind of limp into the postseason next year, yeah, he could be a villain.
What makes it a little bit tougher for him is he always is diplomatic off the court. Like in the post-game press conferences and stuff, he's always respectful. Like the most disrespectful I feel like he's gotten is when he said like he was what did he say about Gobert? He's like, yeah, he's slow. I'm not faster than many people. I'm faster than him. Like that's about as disrespectful as he'll get in the press conferences. Whereas a lot of other people like James Harden, he's like, I wish I could just dunk the ball every time. And Joel Embiid going on press tours where he's like, I'll never win MVP. That other guy sucks. He doesn't play defense. So yeah, that it'll be hard for Luka to rise to the top, but there's a world where it's possible.
Yeah.
And he'll need a finals opponent people actually like. Everyone hates the Celtics.
Yeah, and that's hard to think about too, because like maybe the Bucks, but plenty of people hate Giannis.
A
Plenty.
lot of people hate Halliburton.
Yeah, like a lot of, I don't know, maybe the Knicks. The Knicks I could see. They were darlings last year.
Yeah.
But even like I don't if you ask me 2 seasons from now, so next year and the year after that, people could hate the Knicks no problem. Like the good graces just don't last very long in the NBA. So I don't know. Jury's out on that front. Thank you, Josh, for calling in. You want to go call number 2?
Call number 2. So fired up.
All right, Terry.
Hello, my name is Devin, longtime listener, first-time caller. I'm a 76ers fan, and my concern is that this 76ers offseason still left my team a bit short in terms of a big forward who can rebound and still kind of shoot the ball, as well as a connective passing piece.
All right. Devin wants to know. Okay, so a big four in term like Philadelphia's offseason, it's good. I don't think but like you can't address every single problem a roster has in one off season. And so you get Paul George, you get Kyle Lowry back, you get Kelly Oubre's still there. Andre Drummond is their backup again, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, so I think they got a lot of good pieces. And while the rebounding power forward spot is a little bit iffy right now, and to be honest, it might be kind of hard to address just because it's not like every single front court person can fit with Embiid. You have to be able to do a number of different things. I think they're fine for right now. I don't have anybody off the top of my head who like they could trade for, and really I don't even know what their asset situation
Yeah, I don't know how many moves they have left.
Yeah. I think at this point you are probably banking on the talent you have accrued being enough to outweigh your flaws. Really, every team is going to have flaws unless you're like this year's Celtics team, just like a combination of crazy circumstances comes together where you have 5 guys starting who could be like fringe all NBA players. Everybody's going to have problems in their roster. You just have to have faith that your style of play, the way your guys mesh together, is going to be able to outweigh that. And I think if you get the best version of Paul George, if Buff Maxey takes another step, have you seen his workout pictures? He's getting fucking huge this offseason. And then obviously Joel Embiid, if he can be what he was in that Knicks series and you can get 4 playoff series out of him, which I mean, that's a big question. I think that amount of talent is enough to maybe offset lack of depth at the power forward spot.
To the video watchers, you may have noticed something hairy right when we came back from listening to the voicemail. I was caught off guard. That was my leg hair. I apologize.
Thanks for addressing that. That was going to be a big scandal.
It was. People are going to be like, "Is that his butthole? What was that? Was that his armpit?" But yeah. So I think I think Jonah Bolden is available. The Sixers should go out and get him. That's a little joke for Sixers fans. They'll know.
Okay. All right, Cook.
They did draft Adem Bona. So there's a slight chance, not a lightning strike chance. It's probably greater than that. What's something? Maybe like a shark attack chance. What's the odds for a shark attack?
I don't know. It feels pretty bad.
It's more likely than lightning, right?
Yeah, I'll give it that.
Yeah, so we'll say shark attack chance that Adem Bona can play minutes for you this year, and he realistically, theoretically, could be like a Jared Vanderbilt type guy for this roster. Now, how much does that propel things forward? I don't really know, but yeah. So that's probably where they're at.
Odds. So you should have said being crushed to death by a vending machine, because they always say
that's pretty common, right?
That's more likely than a shark attack. So we should really come up with a gradient for this, where it's like lightning strike, shark attack, vending machine.
What's bee sting? How common is that?
A bee sting? Oh, I feel like you can get stung by a bee like once a year. Maybe
I've never been stung.
Ooh, I'm not jealous. It's not the end of the world if you get stung by a bee as long as you're not deathly allergic to them. But it's not pleasant. I wouldn't recommend it. A Dembona, that feels like a good fix. I'm trying to pull up the rest of their 2025 roster here as well. Uh, yeah, it is a little short. You have Caleb Martin, you have Kelly Oubre, and Paul George is not a particularly strong rebounding guy, anyways. So yeah, I really think you just kind of have to bank on the fact that Embiid is one of the more dominant rebounders in the league, and you've got a talented team that can make up for your shortcomings in other ways. Because yeah, I don't. The power forward spot's already really weird in terms of how it's pretty much dying out. It feels like, but I don't have any examples right off the top of my head that they should go and get. Thank you for calling, Devin. You want to go to number 3?
Yes.
Hey, State of the League podcast. This is Nyquil Jordan, 23, representing the Supersonic District of Seattle, Washington. And my concern today is that we, as a society, are simply not ready for the aura that will emanate when it is announced that Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook will be returning to the franchise for its revival in the 2025-2026 season. It will happen because they've both strategically aligned their free agency to occur during the season, and they will ride out their careers here where it all started. Anyway, that's the agenda we're pushing, guys. Love the show.
Hey, thank you, NyQuil Jordan. That's a great name. It's just so funny. Like, I get why they're paired up because it's Durant and Westbrook. You know, they started their careers there, all that. It's just so funny how different the point at each career we are
I
in
think
right
they
now.
could get Westbrook.
Westbrook's doable. Like, yeah, you might get like Westbrook and Jeremy Grant or something. I
The idea
know.
that Westbrook is doing like 40 contract chess to get into free agency strategic at the right time. Like, yes.
Yeah, Westbrook definitely has that kind of wiggle room with NBA teams right now, where he's like, just give me the 1 year, give me the Nuggets. The Nuggets give everyone a player option, I fucking guess, but they gave him one, so yeah, he finessed them. I think I don't know. It could be cool. Obviously, Seattle's coming back at some point. Adam Silver's kind of tiptoeing around that right now. An expansion draft is an exciting prospect. I guess I haven't really considered that as
Westbrook
part of
will be unprotected.
in an expansion draft.
Mm-hmm.
Almost certainly, barring like just a shockingly good year for him next year. Well, because like if he opts in and he's on the Nuggets, how many can you protect in an expansion draft?
I think maybe 7 or 8.
Okay, so that's Jokic, Murray, Gordon, Michael Porter Jr., Christian Brown, Peyton Watson, and then you have a mix of guys for number 7, where theoretically it could be Westbrook. Like if he is a legitimately good backup point guard that helps a lot of their bench issues. It also could be Saric. It also could be Julian Strother. I think could do it this year. This could be the year he's a fucking shooter, actually.
Could be Jalen Pickett.
Could be Jalen.
Jokic.
Mini Jokic. Who doesn't love a post-up point guard, ladies and gentlemen? It's the new meta. Yeah, I think the numbers there just aren't in his favor, though. So expansion draft, he probably would be eligible.
But yeah, that'd be it. I would support it. I'd be back on the Westbrook train. I'd be rooting for him to be successful with if it was him and Kevin Durant in the what was their arena? Key Arena or something? In the Celtics green. That'd be good vibes. Call up Serge. He's probably washed, but still.
Shout out to the Sasquatch mascot of the Supersonics. He was really cool. I liked him a lot.
And I just saw a video the other day of, the famous Sasquatch video?
Yeah.
They were like, no scientist has ever been able to explain this. This is the most definitive proof we have. And then all the comments were like, no, the guy who filmed it said he was in a suit. The video was saying it's scientifically impossible for a person to have been in the suit. But they were like, the guy said he was in the suit. So who knows?
Well, the guy had reason to. It's because like the guy the guy thought about it and he's like, well, if Sasquatches are real, the implications of this, I mean, I'm pretty much like an eco-terrorist at that point if I'm
Oh.
exposing the world to Sasquatches. So it's probably better for my conscience if I just lie to the world and tell them that I was in the suit. And so, yeah, I agree. Scientifically, impossible that somebody could have been in there. Who has that much hair? You know, it's just it's not realistic.
No.
NyQuil Jordan, thank you for calling. Do you have any final thoughts about the Supersonics?
Who's gonna own them? Jeff Bezos?
Well, who owns Starbucks? They're up in Seattle.
Oh, Howard. Well, no, he wasn't the owner. I don't know who owns Starbucks now, but hey, I don't know if they have NBA team money anymore.
Yeah, the boycott, baby. All right, number
$5
4.
value box, my anus.
Whoa, Jesus Christ.
Fuck, I'm nervous. My name is Lennon Vidal. My district is the Los Angeles Lakers, and the only concern I have at the moment is how can I look Max better? Thank you.
Jesus, Lennon Vidal. I'm glad I finally got to learn how to say your name correctly. I've been saying Vidal for fucking months. Whew. I feel like you're the looks maxing general here, Pablo. Do you have any tips or tricks for the crowd?
So step 1, Ozempic. Step 2, EPO. Mix that up with Sprite. Drink it
What's
morning.
EPO?
That it's like the steroid that all the NBA players take. Like Tyrese Maxey's probably on EPO.
Oh,
It's
okay,
like a
sweet.
performance
Cool,
enhancer.
cool.
So mix that up in a little cocktail. Morning, noon, and night. Drink it. Then hit the gym. Do all the workouts, every single one of them every day. Then after the gym, throw up. Stay skinny. Then go to the haircut place. Tell them, give me your best haircut. Then shave it all off. Then go get a wig. The best wig the money has to offer, the buy. And then check.
Then you go to patreon.com/state of the league. There will be a link to a $40 tin of special chewing gum that you chew, and it makes your jaw. It does not destroy your jaw irreparably. It makes your jaw stronger and cooler. And so you're going to want to chew that for probably 5 hours a day while you're doing all of the other stuff. It has the added benefit of extracting moisture from your mouth. So it's like you still want to throw up, don't get me wrong, but you also want to be spitting all of that spit into
And
maybe
throwing up keeps you trim.
Yeah, well, throwing up keeps you trim. Any extra water weight the throwing up doesn't get, the gum and the spitting is going to help. So if you have a bottle, if you have a cup, spit into that. If you don't, most gyms are cool with you spitting directly onto the floor. And so, yeah, I would say those are the big things. Shave your head, chew the gum, spit, throw up, work out, do a lot of steroids. And then there's also like a certain way where you're supposed to like push your tongue to your mouth, and then like your jawline looks extra cool.
Mewing, of course.
Yeah. Okay. So you want to master mewing as well. And then if you go through the drive-through anywhere, you order, you say thanks, kitten, and then you pull up to the window, and you're already mewing when the lady opens the window. So if you were Pablo, the virgin loser getting laughed at in the drive-through for pronouncing the order wrong. Even if you pronounce the order wrong, you pull up, you're mewing, they're giggling at you. It's silence immediately. They immediately recognize the severity of the situation via the sharpness of your jawline alone. And so, yeah, that's probably what I would recommend if you're new to looks maxing. There's more we could get into, but I think
that's for our course, the $50 a month Patreon tier.
Yeah, $50 a month. That'd be a fun tier for patrons. The looks maxing tier. Oh man, Lennon.
That Starbucks barista never would have laughed if I ordered the Ozempic EPO cocktail. I'll tell you what, brain rot ruined a TV moment for me last night. I was watching the Andrew Garfield police show. Do you know what it is? It's called like Under the Banner of Heaven. It's Andrew Garfield and Daisy Edgar Jones.
I think I've heard of it. is it like a alternate reality type
It
show or what?
No, it's like a Mormon. Andrew Garfield is a Mormon cop, and there's a crime in Mormon land, and he's dealing.
Cool.
Um,
I've never really seen it. No, but I shout out to Andrew Garfield.
it's pretty good so far on episode 2. There's a moment where they're doing like flashbacks to Joseph Smith, the Mormon like founder guy, and they're showing him like be tried by regular people, and they were like, "You're not dealing with the law of God. You're dealing with the law of man and the law of Ohio." And I was like, "Oh man."
The law of Skibbity Riz.
Yeah, I was like, God, they ruined this
Oh,
for me.
bitch, dude. Oh, that fucking rocks. All right, Lennon, thank you for calling in, you beautiful soul. I hope next time we hear
Jesse
from you.
McCartney.
The looks maxing, you said you were nervous. If you follow our advice, the next time you call in, it should be like, hey guys, what's going on? It's Lennon here. It should be just like pure testosterone oozing through the phone. It should make
That's
us,
part of looks maxing. You got to be oozing.
you got to be oozing.
Hello, Jack, Pablo, and esteemed guest Kofi. I am a very concerned lobbyist coming to you from the Great Bay Area as a very spoiled Warriors fan. My name is Tyler, by the way. I should have added that. I do pay you $5 a month, so I should be able to say my name. I'm coming to you with a very concerned take about the state of the middle class in the NBA. It feels as though the middle class is disappearing, just as it is in our country. And I would love to hear your guys' opinions on it. I feel like we're only seeing massive deals or tiny deals. I look forward to hearing from my representatives. Have a lovely day, you guys.
All right. I couldn't hear his name. Could you?
I think it was Tyler.
All right. If your name was Tyler, thank you for calling in. If it wasn't, I'm sorry, man. Like, you can leave another one next time we do this, definitely. And thank you for being a patron. The middle
That's how all phone calls sound in California and San Francisco. It's hell. They're
it's
pooping.
because
They're
the
pooping and doing
microphones
drugs
are
out there.
the microphones are woke. That's what it is.
Kamala Harris put the woke mind virus in the mics.
Kamala Harris, California's top cop, made biodegradable microphones mandatory in every smartphone. It's like a paper straw. We have paper microphones now. It's like you're talking through a can on a string. It's ridiculous. In terms of the NBA middle class, however, I guess the Tyus Jones deal is the one that I saw a lot of people freaking out about, as in terms of this topic, where like that's a guy people thought was good, and he only got $3 million for 1 year, a quote unquote prove it deal, if you will. I think Gary Trent Jr. is another guy who is kind of suffering from this current market. How do you feel about the quote unquote middle class?
Well, first out, shout out to the Yay area, birthplace of the hyphy, G-Eazy, E40, Filipinos. And then when it comes to the middle class, it's weird because there is an evaporating middle class, but the lower class has been elevated. Like Max Christie, 4 years, 32 million for doing nothing, basically. But then you got to think, who should be a middle class player that's not, who's a middle class player that's being underpaid? We have a lot of middle class players being overpaid, like Zach LaVine, Bradley Beal, those types of guys whose teams are kind of like not tricked, but they're kind of like trapped into paying them massive money. Who's someone who deserves middle class money but hasn't gotten it?
I don't know. I'm trying to find like a list of the new contracts given out this off season. It's loading right now.
Maybe Grayson Allen deserved a little bit more.
I think, what did he get? $15 million?
Something real low.
I feel like 15 for Grayson Allen is pretty solid. But I guess, yeah. Fuck. Let me see. Nick Claxton.
What did he get?
Let me see. It's loading right now. Son of a bitch. Yeah, fill time.
Once upon a time, there was Andrew Garfield in Mormon country, and he's questioning his faith. No, but I don't. Yeah. So what's a max contract right now? 60 million, and so a 60 million a year. So who's making like $30 million a year? That would be like the middle class type
Oh, well, I
contract.
have all the contracts pulled up for 2024,
Who
25 right now, so
who,
that's
who
chill.
are the middle class? Who's making 30?
Isaiah Hartenstein is making $30
Ah,
million next year. So is Drew Holiday. Jordan Poole, Devin Vassell, Kristaps Porzingis, Tyler Hero. So I think like Vassell, that's probably a little bit too much money. Jeremy Grant, Jordan Poole, that's too much. But Hartenstein, I think, is a good representation of somebody who should be right in the middle, where it's like clearly above average starter, not going to become like an all star, but elevates the overall level of your team through doing like really high level role player shit. So I feel like he's a good middle class, and he's got real blue collar game as well.
and then when it comes to the middle class in America, it's actually they'll be okay because as the top bracket, the wealthiest people, as they make more money, it's actually going to trickle down, and so it's actually going to trickle down to the middle class, and then they'll have more money.
Okay, I like that. See, the way I always figured it was everybody. Okay, so like you hear the phrase "pull yourself up by your bootstraps," and it is correct. But if you were to view the economy as like a giant pyramid of sorts,
Oh,
the people, all of the
built by
boot,
the aliens.
yeah. All the bootstraps are connected. So Henry Ford back in the day, there would be strings leading from the bottom of his shoes to my bootstraps. And the farther he goes, my bootstraps are pulled a little bit. It makes it better. It gives you more motivation. You look up and you're like, holy shit, that guy, like there's a
Is the
coffee.
hero.
Well, yeah. Like you see Jeff Bezos, there's coffee machines on his yachts that are worth more than anything I will ever own. And so when I see stuff like that, that's like holy shit. Obviously, I need to work harder and stop buying avocado toast. I think that is the real. That's the middle class is not disappearing. The upper class is just getting more motivational. I think is the
Yeah,
reality of the
they're just
situation.
outworked in the middle class.
Yeah, definitely. It's because like they're making their money work for them. That's what it is.
So if you're afraid of if you're afraid of the middle class disappearing, you need to grind harder. But if you want to take your time and be lazy, then take your time because it's going to trickle down any day now.
Yes. So no matter what you do, the world is getting better, and yeah, you have nothing to worry about. Thanks again, Tyler. What was that number? I have them all numbered, but when I imported them, the numbers are all out of whack. So the list goes 1, 3, 2, 5, 4, 8, 7, 9, 6. I think we're on number 6 right now.
Hello, my name is Ethan. I'm from the Grizzlies district, and I had a question. So French players, it looks like they're kind of taking over the league. They're going to be the future of the league. And in France right now, there's a lot of political turmoil, and there's a lot of really good players from the former Yugoslavia. So I'm just wondering, does social and political upheaval, does it produce better ballers? Thanks. Get back to me.
That's actually a good question. Unironically, that's a fun talking point. What do you think about it?
What's the saying? Hard times produce strong men. So hard times produce strong ballers. So
Hard times produce good handles. Good handles produce weak men.
hard times, Paramore. Good song. Great band.
Hard Knocks TV show. I
The
never
Bears.
really watched it, but
Well, watch it for Caleb Williams.
I've seen the clip where who is it that's like I fear God, boy, and then they run the route again, and it's like a wide receiver and a safety get into a scrap,
It
and
might be Hopkins.
that's who it is. It was DeAndre Hopkins, and they run the route again, and DeAndre Hopkins runs it so good that the safety tears his ACL trying to guard him. And I always laughed at that. I was like, that's hilarious. And now, a week after ACL surgery myself, there's nothing funny about that at all. You're a sick, demented fuck if you've ever laughed at somebody's misfortune like that. Yeah, that's how I feel about hard times and strong ballers.
The French Seine. Did you see someone got E. coli?
No, I didn't, but that's not surprising.
Yeah, I think a Belgian swimmer. Got it. So after swimming in there, the so it's our American swimmers were better prepared for that because they've all eaten Chipotle, and
Yes.
so politically, our lack of food regulations maybe built up our swimmers to be even stronger. So we were better prepared to dominate the swimming event.
Yeah, yeah. And so like I guess really the question with France is if the woke mind virus succeeds and takes over the country there, then their ballers will be weak. They will
Yeah,
continually crank out Evan Fourniers until the end of time. But with Yugoslavia, you see, the fall of communism, the dissolution of the country, really the descent of the entire area into economic decline for a good long couple of decades. But now we're reaping the benefits of that. Now capitalism is cranking out the Jokic's, the Doncic's, the Jovic's, the Topic's, the Bogdanoviches, both of them, bald and hairy alike. They're both pretty good. So yeah, I think the real message here is that communism makes people bad at basketball.
I saw a video on TikTok of like kids at the Team USA camp, like high schoolers or whatever. They're like, "Who's the most famous person in your phone?" And a bunch of them were saying, "My dad, my uncle, whatever," because they're all related to NBA players now. And people were so mad in the comments. They were like, "Bring back people who had no other option." I hate these kids.
Oh my god. Well, I mean, that's why you have to go find the old man who's sitting on the bench at the park watching people play pickup basketball. You go up to him, you say, "Who's the best high school basketball player in the city?" He will tell you somebody who has never stepped foot on an AAU floor. He will tell you somebody who gets 15 minutes for the JV team for a school that plays 12 games a year. He'll be like, "This is the best guy I've ever seen." And he'll probably be right. He just knows ball like that. So that's yeah. I guess that's my take on hard times and hoops. Do you have any final
Wemby
thoughts?
is Wemby a woman?
Yes. Well, what are his chromosomes? What's in his pants? And what are his testosterone levels like? I guess that's the big three.
They transvestigated him. He's got some heavenly features.
He is a handsome guy.
He reads. That's for girls.
Yeah, he reads. That's for girls.
Hello, my name is Burger with Awesome Sauce, and I am from the New Orleans district, and I was coming here wondering today, what the hell is Brandon Ingram thinking? His camp has put out a statement saying that next year they want a $208 million 4-year contract. We've seen how he plays. You can decide yourself if he's worth that. I'm wondering what teams are in the market for a Brandon Ingram figure right now, and if you could come up with any potential trades, I'd love to hear them. All right, y'all take care now.
Wasn't there some Ingram to the Cavs smoke at one point?
They were kind of hoping to do a Garland swap, but that didn't come through. So I don't know what the latest is on Brandon Ingram. I just looked it up, and there's a bunch of like just random fan articles connecting him to every team. Like, could the Warriors get him? Could the Jazz get him? Could a bunch of people get him? So it's a tough situation because he's the type of player that theoretically you want on your team. You want a big wing who can pass, who can create shots for himself, who can make threes. And I guess he's like a theoretical defender. It's like he's got the wingspan. And so those types of players do cost a lot, and they are hard to find. But then when he's your mid-range creation centerpiece, then your offense isn't that good. So it's not worth 200 million. But if you are Brandon Ingram, I understand why he's like, hey, I deserve that money. Find me anyone else who has the combination of skills that I have. And the Pelicans are like, I don't want him.
There are people who, I mean,
It's rare. Like who's got it? Who's got the passing and the mid-range creation?
he is an underrated passer, I guess. So to me, Brandon Ingram, the dream outcome is he's like Chris Middleton. Is that a fair analysis?
It's within the realm of possibility. I think. Yeah, the big sticking point would be defensively. Like,
Yeah.
will he ever get to that level?
Yeah, and I mean, really, jury's out on that point. So for Chris Middleton, that worked for the Bucks one time. They got the title, and he was playing next to one of like the 13, 15 best players in the history of basketball.
And he's pretty hit or miss in the playoffs himself, right?
I think so. I think if you look at like he has a stretch where he's an all-star 3 times in 4 years. If you look at that, his best games, he's insane. And there are series where especially without Giannis, like this year, I felt like Milwaukee was pretty competitive in most games because he played well. But the games that he's not hitting his jump shots, just not really that impactful of a player. It's just hard with Ingram because like $50 million a year, there's not really a trade market for him. And if you pay him that, it probably impacts your ability to flush out the rest of the roster to pay Trey Murphy down the road. Herb Jones is locked up for 4 years, right?
I think so. 3 or 4.
Okay. Well, just assuming you don't have to worry about Herb Jones. It's just hard. It does not feel even if Zion, like guaranteed health from Zion, is that a Giannis level player that like Brandon Ingram can be your second best guy and you can win a title?
Offensively, I think so. I think in totality, like obviously he's not as big as Giannis, and that has its own hurdles. But I think his rim attacking ability translates much cleaner to the half court.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think like he is creating those types of like someone could draft off him the same way that people draft off of Giannis.
Yeah. Okay. I guess I think they're probably at this point better off paying Ingram. Now that I'm really thinking, so like I don't. There's just even if Ingram has like a career year next year, it just doesn't feel like the market would really develop for him to the point where you would get good equitable return in a trade. You would probably overall be losing a little bit of asset. Uh, and yeah, I don't know. It's just
If
what do you?
there's no suitors out there and they get to the deadline next year and Zach LaVine looks like Zach LaVine, would you do that trade?
No, no.
Because I get the rationale would be just okay, we either lose this guy for nothing or we're stuck with his massive contract or we're stuck with Zach's massive contract. So I don't know what they would do in that situation. And it's like what did the Kings give up for DeRozan? Did they just sign him straight up?
No, they gave up Harrison Barnes and a bunch of bullshit where like the big draft asset I remember is that like there's a 2030 pick swap that somehow ended up in San Antonio's hands with Sacramento, but Harrison Barnes was the centerpiece and there was a couple other things involved.
So yeah, if you're a Kings fan, you would rather have Ingram because he does all the same stuff, but he can shoot better from 3 and is younger.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess they didn't have the assets to do it. So I really don't know where he'll end up. Maybe he'll end up in Golden State somehow out of desperation. Maybe he'll end up in just like a Godfather package to the Jazz for Laurie. I don't know.
Maybe. Yeah. I don't know. I don't really have he is one of the more confusing players in the NBA right now. I suppose that's my official statement on Brandon Ingram. Thank you. Fuck. What was his name?
I forget, but he's from Louisiana.
Oh, it was Burger. Burger with Awesome Sauce. Thank you, Burger with Awesome Sauce, for calling in. Here's call number 8.
My name is Beef Shellington. I'm a Sacramento Kings fan. My concern is that we've been mediocre for 10 plus seasons with no vision forward. I grew up watching this team get smoked by Stephen Wardell Curry and Klay Thompson. And every season it left me with the same empty feeling in my heart. When are we going to change? Is DeMar DeRozan going to make our team better? No. We're going to be a first-round exit. If it doesn't work this season, blow it up. Please, blow it up. Blow it up. Get Cooper Flag. I don't know how, but do it. Thank you.
Is DeMar DeRozan going to make our team better? No.
No. DeMar DeRozan's good. DeMar DeRozan's fine. It's so funny how we've gotten to the point. Bill Simmons said some shit in a podcast that like threw me for a loop a while back where he's like, DeMar DeRozan really shook off that playoff rust. And I'm like, no, he did not. We just have not like gotten to the point where him being a bad playoff performer has even mattered in years. It's been so long that like it just hasn't really mattered. And maybe in a reduced role, he'll be fine. He'll be passable. He'll probably still be better than Harrison. Even like playoff dropper DeRozan, better player than Harrison Barnes. I'm not gonna tell you how to be a fan of your team, and I'm not gonna invalidate your experience as a fan. The vibes that I've gotten from Kings fans is that the past 10 years have not been mediocre. The past 10 years have been hell. They've been garbage. And so this idea that like all of a sudden you're better than a first round exit, it's like that's not what you want. I understand it's not a championship ceiling. I don't think there's a championship ceiling with this version of the roster, barring a huge jump from Keegan Murray or I guess Fox. I really think Sabonis is reaching the ceiling of what he's going to be unless the jump shot comes along. I don't foresee like a huge title of even fringe contention for this version of the team, but I still think for most Sacramento fans and for the front office, they are happy like winning 48 games and competing for a while. I think there's probably 2 or 3 more seasons of that specific recipe where like it's a good regular season team. They win a lot of games. They're fun. Sabonis is an all-star, maybe Fox is too. And then they don't do very well in the playoffs. And once that recipe loses its luster a little bit, then maybe they start to seriously shake things up, consider the possibility of trading Sabonis or Fox or whatever. But I think that's a ways down the road. I think they'll probably just ride it out with this roster for a little while.
Yeah, I don't think it's realistic that this team does anything. Like I've said, the second that they made the Sabonis trade, I think they were locked into non-contention, and then this is just further. Like it's just very hard for me to see a world where those pieces fit together and can beat the best teams in the playoffs. I just don't see the vision. So I would be on the blow it up train, but I'm always on the blow it up train. I think Bulls fans do this all the time where they're like, no, we just need to be competitive. I'm tired of watching a bad team. Like if you can't watch a tanking team, you're a baby. That's my official position. You're a literal baby. If my team is not building towards something, like if it's like reading a book knowing the ending, like I know that this is guaranteed a first round or second round exit, like there's literally zero chance that this advances further. Like I don't need the pity season. I don't need the pity January wins. They don't do anything for me. So it sounds like this guy's built like me. So yeah, I'm in on a Kings explosive operation, but they obviously won't do it. They're just gonna do hold on, that playoff ticket money is pretty nice.
You are gonna be seeing 33-year-old Domantas Sabonis losing a first round playoff series. Like I feel like
it's bigger than basketball. He's a community member.
Yeah, he's a Kings. It's so funny that like like from when the Chris Webber era ended all the way up until the Sabonis trade, it's just dog shit, dog shit, dog shit, dog shit. And then the real Kings lifer, that you're like, damn, this guy wants to be here and he's a good basketball player. It's like maybe the hardest ceiling like cap on the team type player we have seen in the NBA since I don't know when. I just can't. I'd have to comb back through all stars that were like legit franchise cornerstones that made me feel as unenthusiastic about late postseason basketball as DeMontis Sabonis does. Even though I think he's sick, even though I think he's a very unique talent, and I love a big man who can pass and be the focal point of an offense. It's just tough if you can't shoot and you can't defend.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, they traded a guy who wanted to be there for him too.
And what has that guy done? You know, I heard that guy got hurt and his team was the best offense in history without him.
I heard that guy's a dweeb.
I mean, yeah, I've heard he's fucking up Team USA's aura. Okay, that's what I've heard. Heard he's a fucking loser who's always giggling in the pictures when Anthony Edwards is mewing and Kevin Durant's got his hood up and he's like, we're edgy, we're dark, we're cool. And then you pan over to Derek White and Tyrese Halliburton yucking it up in the corner. Nerds. So yeah,
he's got two different voices. What's he hiding?
What's he hiding? How many does Cat have? 3 at this point? All right. Thank you. Fuck. I got to get better at remembering the names. Or maybe I should just say thanks afterwards. Dude, do you remember it?
No.
Son of a bitch. Well, you heard it because you said it yourself.
You heard it.
You heard it. What are you, greedy? You want it twice?
You're on the news.
Jeez, my goodness. It's not enough to be on TV anymore. Thank you for calling in.
Hi there. My name's Mitch, known by more as Bwomp, but I'm calling from the Detroit Pistons district. Mainly curious to see what you guys think about the idea of having a head coach a summer league team, maybe to get more reps with the rookies as opposed to someone who might be threatening their job. How does this factor into morale, possible scheming? Feel free to let me know. Thanks.
Shout out to Bwomp. I love that guy. It's a great name.
Yeah, and his real name is Mitch. I was so focused on his name, I missed the question. What was the question?
Oh my God. The question was how we feel about a head coach coaching summer league as opposed to somebody who, in Detroit's case, with the turnover they've had, you're probably looking around the assistants coaching and you're like, am I safe, Brutus? Are you gonna fucking kill me one of these days? I think so. For Detroit, is there who did Detroit draft this year? It was
Ron Holland.
Yeah, Ron Holland. And so that was a pretty polarizing pick in terms of they're really bad at shooting threes already. He's probably not going to come in and change your life as a 3-point shooter. So I guess the more reps you get with him as a coach and understanding the ebbs and flows of his game, the better. Because if you're extending a ton of wiggle room to your rookie when you're in the 6th year of your rebuild and you're winning 20 games again, that probably gets you a little bit of scrutiny from the front office. But at the same time, Summer League isn't real, and I don't think it's real for coaches either. Like, it's a nice little tryout for a guy who maybe gets the job down the line. But if you're already the head coach of the team, I don't think it's changing anybody's opinions about what the team looks like in March or anything.
Yeah, I think that it probably won't happen because it is viewed similar to the players where it is like a good opportunity for like young coaches to get head coaching experience. And so they use it, like, remember Becky Hammond was coaching the Spurs teams for a while, and Mark Dagnall used to coach their Thunder teams, I think, in the summer league. So it's typically like a young up and coming guy. So I think it would make perfect sense if a new coach did that, if they're like, hey, or if any coach did that, they're like, hey, I want to get my guy in early. I want to get the schemes in his brain. But it makes sense that they don't, just because it's like a tryout.
All right, who gives a fuck about what you're saying right now? My girlfriend just got home, and she gave me this bracelet that says Jokic joestar on it.
And guys, if we're gonna have an auction later for that.
Yeah, a replica of it will go up for auction.
Nope, the real one.
No, I'm not
that
giving
touched
this.
His wrist.
The other one can touch my wrist. I'll put them both on, but I'm keeping this one. Yeah. Nice. That rocks. Shout out to Kids Craft Club.
Hi there. My name's Mitch.
Sorry, I just started the game call. Thanks, Mitch, for calling in. All right, this is our last phone call.
This is Sam from the 76ers district, and frankly, I'm just really concerned about how pretty our team is and how it will affect the Japanese stan accounts. We got the hottest man in the league, Kelly Oubre, along with newcomer Jared McCain, and we have Tyrese Maxey. I saw what the Japanese stan accounts did to Bryce Sensabaugh, and I'm just genuinely terrified for what they're going to do to this team this season.
All right, hold on 1 sec.
This is Sam from the.
All right, Stan. I think his name. Shout out to Stan. I was distracted the whole time because you. I mean, I don't want to shit all over his voice because this is not necessarily a negative thing. That is the most real life radio call-in sounding voice I've heard so far.
And his name's Stan.
Yes. What's up, guys? It's Stan. Yeah, shout out to him, dude. That fucking rocks.
We're literally Mike Francesa right now.
Yeah. In terms of how pretty the Sixers are, obviously Kelly Oubre, you know him, you love to hate him, however you feel about him. He's a very handsome guy. Paul George for Tobias Harris, that's a direct upgrade in terms of the looks department. Paul George, some allegations of him looking maybe like a goat, maybe like Mr. Tumnus from the Chronicles of Narnia. Even if that's the case, I still think he's better looking than Tobias. Embiid, he's a handsome guy. Jared McCain, cutie pie. Maxey, cutie pie. I think if you can work this to your advantage, if you can get maybe the city of Philadelphia to kind of be so lost in the smoldering eyes of your starting five that they're not actively booing them at a playoff game or something, that would be cool. But I'm not really sure how it's going to affect the team.
I think it's an inevitability that the Japanese accounts become horny for the Sixers team because they are going to be hit by the stock market crash, the recession. Japan's going down the toilet, so they're going to have nothing. They're going to be in their three-story houses that they're paying 100 yen a month for, and they're going to have nothing except for the sexy Sixers roster. So,
wow. I'm just imagining Japan decimated by the stock market crash. Rents are through the roof. I'm paying $500 a month now. Oh no, this is terrible. Holy shit.
To be fair, they are being paid like
yeah, I understand. But I always get those cool videos where it's like, what could you get in the Shinjuku district for 3,000 yen a month or something? It's like, oh my god. 2 bedrooms? Are you serious? I could split this with somebody? Holy shit. So
you don't even need to split it. Your rent right now could probably pay for a mansion.
Yeah, it's possible. And what? Then I'd have access to all these sick ass convenience stores. I could go to 7-Eleven
everywhere.
Yeah, oh my god, I could ride a bullet train across the country in an hour and a half. Wow, geez, guys. Japanich joestar coming soon.
And you won't be able to go to some clubs. They limit the foreigners, but you could use a little dose of racism.
I'm a big guy, so maybe they'll let me in.
I don't know. I think it's a white thing.
I got it coming. I got a couple comments like that today, actually, because I made a few videos. I was like, the situation in Britain kind of scary right now. Everybody's like just openly super racist. And I got a comment that was like, oh, really? You think like burning down a hotel full of immigrants is fascism? Are you serious? Are you really that much of a self-loathing white person? And so maybe I would enjoy Japan. Maybe I'd love the club experience of walking up and the bouncer's like, honky, get the fuck out of here. Maybe that's something that I'd be into. Gaijin is the white guy term in Japan?
Yeah.
Okay, right on. Yeah, that's me. Maybe I'm into that, I guess, and it was clearly a British guy seating in my comments. Racist British people are the funniest people on the planet to me. That's such a fake fucking, I don't know. You can't be that silly and then be like, get out of my country. It's just, yeah, it's ridiculous.
You think people care about Michael Jordan? I don't even know him. Talk about Wayne Rooney.
Hell, hey, don't staple Wayne Rooney onto the legacy of racist Britons. You know, he doesn't deserve that. Shout out to the Stocky Kings all around the
MLS
world.
legend.
Yeah, I remember he was in that cool Nike commercial where all the best footballers have to play against clones of themselves to reclaim the sport.
I'll be Neymar.
Oh, you okay? Right on. I'd be. Was Messi in that commercial, or he's an Adidas guy? So I don't think
Yeah, I
so.
don't think he was in there.
Well, I'll be Messi then, and I'll stay at home. He's like, as long as I can play football by myself, I don't really care.
Ban Messi.
Why?
He took growth hormones.
But he's little.
Yeah.
he
took hormones.
Wow, took growth hormones, and they didn't even work. That's cool.
He would have been 4'8" or whatever.
Oh shit! Oh, so we're implying that okay, without them, he would not have been able to see over people. That's 4'8" in football, though. It feels kind of advantageous. You can go
through people's legs.
Yeah, you could slide through people's legs. You're more nimble. You could change directions faster. I think he was probably nerfing himself, and he still turned out to be the GOAT.
So I found out about you. Do you know the climber Alex Honnold? He's like the GOAT climber.
I might recognize him because I've seen a lot of clips of documentaries on my TikTok, but I don't know the name really.
So yeah, he's the guy from the big documentary. I think it's called Free Solo or something.
I've heard of that movie. Yeah.
Yeah, he apparently his brain was studied, and they found that he doesn't feel fear. He thinks he thinks he feels fear, but he doesn't really. The amygdala or whatever that activates when you're supposed to be afraid. There's nothing. So they're like that's part of the reason why he's such a good climber. But I was gonna make a video about that, and I was looking up other crazy physical advantages. I don't know if this is legit. I saw an article where they said Simone Biles, because she never went through a growth spurt or whatever, because she's been that height forever, she's never had to adjust her mechanics or muscle memory or something like that. So she's just had all the same body movements drilled in forever, and that's an advantage. I was like, I wonder if that's true.
I mean, yeah, it feels like it. Doing gymnastics from an extremely young age and going through puberty, that's, yeah, I feel like that's just scaling up the difficulty of everything. It's not even just a change. It's everything gets actively more difficult once you get farther away from your center of gravity and everything. So, yeah, I think that's probably an advantage. There's several football, American football guys where it's we looked at them during clutch time and Joe Burrow's pupils didn't dilate for 40 minutes or shit like that, where they just don't get nervous and it helps them make decisions and shit. So that's probably, I don't know, there's probably a ton of stuff like that.
I'll tell you what, my jump shot took a major hit post-puberty.
My jump shot, it's always been fucked because nobody ever really taught me how to shoot correctly, and I was too weak to really get the ball to the hoop. And so now I'm pretty strong, and it's still terrible. I would say you give me 40 3-pointers, I hit 8 of them, I'll be happy.
Oh.
But I haven't even practiced shooting in 3 months, really, since I hurt my knee. So once I get back out there, we'll bump those. I got to change the play style a little bit. Less Zach Randolph, maybe more Lamar Odom.
You got to age gracefully, more gracefully.
Yeah, Bulls Pau Gasol, if you will.
Pau Gasol. Oh.
What? It's interesting that name would get brought up right now.
Pau Gasol, would that save your life?
Oh, I don't know. I'll have to ask the man himself. Pau, take it away.
Lay down a list of what